When it comes to marketing, there are usually two main methods: research and browsing. Finding which one of them is the right for you is super important and can change your overall strategy. Today we'll cover both of them. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nevo. I'm a full stack developer with over 10 years of experience doing marketing for the last 3 years. Welcome back to the channel. I mainly talk about open source, tech, and marketing. Have managed to grow Novo, the open source notification infrastructure, from 0 to 31,000 stars in 2 years. So let's dig into it. So the classic approach that usually everybody uses is research. Research is a classic way for people to find you by searching you. That's usually done by doing like a Google search or a ChatGPT search. The main thing about this channel is that usually people use it when they want to research something. It means that they don't get this thing to their face without asking. They're actually going to their keyboard, writing what they want, finding it, and then looking into it. The second approach is browsing. This approach is usually how people get content without really searching for this. This can be some influencer posting about you, a Google discovery feed that shows your article. It can be some social media posts. It can be ads on platforms like Reddit, YouTube, and Facebook, where you just show a graphic of some ad and the person is forced to look at it without really searching for it. So how do you determine which one you should choose when you're just starting to work your way in? So everything starts with a very simple question. Is there a dominator in the market? Why is it important? Because if there is a dominator in the market, and I'm not talking about some company that maybe raised one funding round or two or something like that. I'm talking about a real company, Salesforce, Wix, something big. That means that the entire market went into the education process. It means that this specific market were already taught about using these specific softwares, and people are constantly researching for this type of content. When there is a market dominator, usually the search volume is very high. If I look, for example, on a chat generative API, such as ChatGPT, the market is flooded, and so there is a lot of searchers and a very search high volume. In that case, SEO usually is the best way to go. I would go to a software like SEMrush or Ahref and then put the competitor website inside and check if there are some keywords, long keywords, and have traffic, for example, between 20 to 200, and then I will just start to write articles on those keywords, especially if there is a very low competition, because I know that in a very short time I can get to the top pages on Google and get immediate traffic to me all the time. And this is very good, especially because this is accumulating. Once you have the article and you go to the top page, most likely you will stay there. You can keep on writing more and more and more articles. This is really good because you never make a one-time marketing. Everything you do adds on to the previous stuff you've done. One thing that I suggest is that if you start to write articles, it's really important to understand how much domain authority your domain have. Now, usually newer domains have a very low domain authority, so it will be very hard for them to be ranked on the top places. So writing the articles on platforms like dev.to and Medium is a good alternative because they will rank very high with those content and you can leverage their domain authority. So they have a higher chance of ranking over Google. And if you like this video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot to create more and more and more content for you. Just hit the subscribe button and thank you very much. If you don't find that much amount of traffic when you're looking at those software, it means that there is no search volume, and in that case, SEO would usually not work. And I've seen many people doing that mistake, that they try to tackle SEO anyway, but there's just no way for them to squeeze in because literally nobody is searching for what they're trying to promote. Now, the thing is that SEO mostly is marketing. And we'll talk about browse really soon, but browse is mostly growth hacking. It's making a lot of stuff in a very short term that brings you a lot of people, but once you finish that, that's it. The traffic is gone most of the time. So you need to iterate on this every week. So why am I not talking about research so much, aka SEO? Because over the last year, I've talked to so many founders. And one thing that I have found that is common to all of them, that they all try to create the newest thing in tech and they try to break barriers and to build their own new category. And when you build your own category, basically you need to educate your market. And it's very hard to educate a market about something if this market is not searching for you. This is why SEO doesn't work in 99% of the startups that are trying to compete in this tech world. However, there are a lot of cases where people can find markets that they can compete, especially older markets, serverless, computing, and stuff like that. Now let's talk a little bit about browse. With browse, you basically show people stuff without asking them. And if you find the right way to do this, you can expose your stuff to a lot of people. The main problem about browse is that not everything is super interesting to show to everybody. So I kind of rank this kind of stuff of what is very interesting and what is very not interesting. So the most interesting part is usually developer tools, things that developer can use really quickly to build UI at first, and then some backend and AI stuff. Next, you have purely backend stuff that is a little bit harder to promote because it's not as sexy. And then you start to have stuff that are very hard to promote. A lot of backend services or cloud native services that are only CLI based. Those ones are really not enough audience a lot of the time. The audience is also very narrow in this one because all these cloud native, and the more you go up the ladder, the persona becomes more and more sophisticated. And then there is just not a lot of them. And it's really hard to do this kind of push marketing because they will just never see your content. So just to summarize this, when you do browse, you would really want to focus on juniory level, mid, pure developers. And with browse, usually you don't have a direct funnel. What it means that if people see your articles, they will not buy immediately. It's really good for branding because you can show your articles to 20,000 people if you use something like dev.to and you do it the right way. And then those people will tell other people, and over time you will get brand. With SEO specifically, people are on research mode. It means that they are looking for something specifically right now, and they might find you and start to use your services. Now, of course, SEO is big and it can be more specific word like how to implement an AI chatbot in my application. That might be something that people will use right away, and then it can be some remote keywords where it's not even your product. Let's take an example. Novo is an open source notification infrastructure, and I can target a keyword like how to send an SMS with Twilio. Not sure people will go to Novo, and still I will get a lot of people getting exposed to this article every week. So it's also a very big thing on branding. So I hope this video was clear, and if you like this video, make sure you watch my previous video on Hacktoberfest.